We are back with another Age Mythology point of view game. Today we are watching Kavoth against I Am Magic. This is from the Wrath of the Gods tournament, and if you want to check out any of these series in their fullest, then I will put a link to that in the description. It's been a really great tournament, and there's been some really high-level games. And today we're watching Kavoth play Poseidon. Now, he's being really cheeky here, actually, trying to get a gazelle out, but it will eventually walk back. But the reason that I want to watch him play Poseidon is I've been trying to play him, and I feel that Poseidon is pretty difficult. I mean, he's one of these gods where you kind of feel like you need to do some kind of early aggression, but you can also do some kind of waiting for later game with the militia buildings and things. Like, he has some really good things for the late game too, and some really good bonuses for that late game. So I really want to see how one of these top level players plays Poseidon here, and it looks like he's put his lore down early. So there's kind of two ways to play this. You can put your lure down early. It obviously brings in the extra food, you get the extra chickens, whatever, and then you save the 50 wood. Or you can do something where you would put the granary down and then just sacrifice maybe this storehouse here, and then do a straggler tree if you really wanted to get in extra wood, or just leave the wood in entirely if you want to get up to 15 out of 15 population without building a house. But it looks like he doesn't want to go up. Actually, he does. So with this build, it looks like he can get both storehouses, one on wood, and getting the lure out early. Now he's going to split his villages up, four over here, 3 over here. This means that he's probably going to want to build some stables, one on favor as well. So going in for those centaurs at least a little bit, unless he's just going to stop on the 2 favor, and then that's enough for 1 Atalanta. So we're on one of these pretty open maps. This one's Giza. So this one is a strange map where everything is desert, but then each one of the town centers has this little bit of grass around it. So that's how you know where some of the town centers are, even though this one doesn't have a town center. Maybe that's where the hunt spawns as well. Gold mines pretty open, pretty exposed, nothing really to defend them. So someone like Poseidon here with lots of Hippias is going to be the way forward, really. You would expect. The same as Thor. Thor can get his raiders out and be absolutely fine. Stable coming down. Atalanta coming down. Atalanta's one of the, or probably the best Greek classical age hero. She's just so fast. And if you run her around with your Hippias and Centaurs, it doesn't slow down the army. Whereas if you were to get out your Theseus with them, it slows them down to 4.3 speed when they're actually almost 6 speed. So it's not ideal. Really nice bit of raiding here to stop the Berserk from putting the wall down. He could hit that wall and get it down pretty quickly, but looks like the Centaur's just going to chill there and stop that from happening. This guy's not really going to take much damage from this Centaur. So it looks like he's just going for the 1 stable. Getting the more on wood here, so whether or not he wants to go into those Centaurs, or maybe want to drop down more buildings. Nice push off from this gold mine. This is something that you want to do with the Centaurs, is kind of just pop in and pop out after you've used that special. And knowing that the opponent's Thor, they normally get a late advance time. So if you can get the early damage done with the Centaur just before he advances there, the Hearses can't really get on them, because the Hearses do less than 1 damage. Now he's in the next stage. If a Hearse gets onto the Centaur's in some serious trouble. This looks like the wood's being spent on this pickaxe here, going for a lot on gold. This could mean just spamming lots more stables out, lots more Hippias. This could also mean that he's going for a second town center. So a bit of early pressure into second town center is something that some of these aggressive gods really like to do. It's like a Chronos strategy where you put your temple forward, you do a bit of stuff you do a little bit of early action with the Prometheans while your villagers are getting some bits back here. Now, something that I've kind of found to do is I like to leave my Theseus back at home, which is exactly what Kavoth's doing here, because he slows down the army, and the Valkyries and the early myth units, things like Sphinx, are going to come and annoy your base. And it isn't like your Zeus, where you can get your bolt and just be like, I'm not dealing with that today. You have to get your slow hero in, and the hero will absolutely stop the Valkyrie, even though the Valkyrie is still pretty strong. Shouldn't get this kill, should be able to jump into the Oh, should be able to jump into the Sentry Tower, but unfortunately misclicked that one and put the Theseus in instead. It's one of those things where when you're trying to focus on many places, then you miss those kind of micro things. At least I do. Lots of gold in the bank. Looks like he just didn't want to commit to getting anything too soon, especially because Magic Space is pretty fortified here, and he's got so many units out. Unfortunately, going to lose a couple of these just because of the snaring. Looks like there's a little bit of a forest fire onto that Theseus. Theseus is fine. Centaur went off separately. So these guys are 6 speed against a 5.9 speed Hippias. Actually, 5.6 speed with the Atalanta. He needs to put that in a separate group so it doesn't slow them down too much. The Centaur could get a little bit of damage done, so it snares the enemy too. But it looks like they're all going to run around together. And he probably could have turned and did a little bit of damage on that, but then the units are behind. Still on the one stable. Getting Military Academy up now. One thing that is really good to do if you're in a matchup which is all horse based, it's all cav, then getting a few hoplites out to defend your town is a really good option. So you go raiding with the fast units, then just like you've got with the Theseus, you get Theseus with 5 hoplites to defend at home. Really nice idea. Might drop another stable down too. Big raid coming in from Magic, but he notices it straight away. Unfortunately, still gets caught out. I don't think he could have even retreated much faster than that. That was some really good reaction time, but still loses 2 villages. That's just how strong some of these raids are, which is why he wants to get in these military academies. Might even be worth putting a building down. Unfortunately, these are having horrible pathing. Unfortunately, something just happens with a Retold. Well, happens with the original Age of Mythology too. Chasing these guys away, won't ever catch up to them, but at least he knows where they are. And then he's still got his hoplites here in case there's a second raiding force that Magic will send, which is something that these top players really like to do. Yeah, need a second granary there, absolutely does it. And he's got a pretty defensive space. Apart from putting some extra walls up, storehouse coming here to go on the wood line and also kind of defend that. But there's only a couple of ways in. He could come in over here. Also, the pathing around berry butchers is really strange. That's something that I have found. So he has to watch out for that. But running in this way or this way, so the army is in a really, really good spot here. Now, he's got 8 Hippias, and he's queuing up 2 more, and that's probably when I'd like to see medium Hippicon, or Hippias even. It's just something that, I don't know whether it's just the arbitrary 10 number, but that's when I like to think about, I probably need to get medium. But also deciding to stay on the one stable still, just not overcommitting, wanting to make sure he spends his resources on his Centaur instead. Does he have the Centaur upgrade? No. And does he actually have... So he doesn't have any of the unique upgrades. So he doesn't have his Spirited Charge, which gives extra speed to the Hippias, extra speed to the Centaurs, and doesn't have the Sylvan Lore, which makes the Centaurs a bit more tanky as well. Just deciding for more units over his upgrades. Now getting his medium upgrades with his 10 Hippias. Yeah, it just seems like the time, right? Now, one thing that I try and do as we get a little bit of a raid here, and we'll say it in a minute. Now, it looks like Magic has seen that there's a lot of defenses here. Centaurs are in, and they're going to force them out. Is get this upgrade, Winged Messenger. It means that it costs something like 3 favor and not very much gold, and then you get a free Pegasus. So when your Pegasus dies, you get another one, and it's just something where I kind of struggle on what your opponent is actually up to. Maybe these top level players know, but I might not. I might think that Magic went for a second town center here, so I would want to be looking between this town center, which kind of just be looking at maybe get 2 Pegasus out even, just to make sure that I know that definitely isn't happening. I mean, seeing the amount of units that they're medium, he's probably not doing that, but it's just one of those things like, it's better to be safe and spend those few resources to know that that definitely isn't happening. And this is what we said. So he has the 8 hoplites can scare away this many units, especially underneath town center fire. Valkyrie getting caught. So this is what I'm saying about these berry bushes. They're just not ideal. The pathing around it. Also catching out the rest of the units. There's so many Centaur here. People say that Centaur are bad, but they still do so much damage. They're just kind of weak. Unfortunately, does a little bit of wrong micro there where he selects everything to run them away. If you have Centaurs, you want to have them separately. Otherwise, they will run to the back of the army, and it's not ideal. He could put them in a box, and I assume that the Centaurs would go in the box, but nice micro there to do the opposite, to get the Centaurs to the back. Now the hoplites coming in, and he forced magic off here and also won a fight down here, so he is in a commanding position. Still, nope, deciding to get a second stable out now. Also looks like he might be wanting to go to the heroic age. Got 600 food and 300 of the gold, so pretty much there. Getting a market up to get to the next stage. Markets are cheaper for Poseidon, so if you want to quickly get up to the next stage and you're not wanting any armory upgrades, just get a market down. It's just cheaper. Why not? Centaurs being really cheeky. This is something that you can do against a Thor player that hasn't gone Forseti, or well, any Norse that hasn't gone Forseti to get the fast hearses. When the Norse gets up to the next stage and they have their Godi or any ranged myth units like trolls or Draugr, then it's going to be a lot harder to get your Centaurs in to do a little bit of hit and run kind of situation. I'm looking to go through Aphrodite, so it doesn't want the super strong horses. Wants the curse, wants the Aphrodite upgrades, getting the getting the Nemean lion in, the upgrades getting faster building, and the more favor. Probably the more favor is going to be the most important one to get more Centaurs out, if that's what he still wants to go for. Actually, that was a pretty nice check to see what the army composition was. That was basically what that was, and he's seen that there was so many raiders still there. Still hasn't got Spirited Charge. With 7 on the favor, I guess just wants more Centaurs, but Spirited Charge does help them out as well. So they go up to 6 point something speed. If he gets the upgrade, we'll be able to tell. But he is also getting the Pegasus out, just as we said. But maybe someone at Kavoth's level doesn't need it that early because he knows what Magic was doing. Oh, going to get some nice snipes in. No, some really nice positioning from Magic to stop that from happening. The hearses will do serious damage to these guys. They'll go down in just a few shots with their not much hack armor. Unfortunately, getting caught out here, but he does have Curse, so after Curse, he might do well in this fight. Or he can just drop a ceasefire if he wants to, but probably wants to save that for flaming weapons. Does end up using the Curse, still a little bit behind. But there's another army coming in with loads of hoplites. Should be more than fine. I think he lost a little bit more than Magic did if you don't include the Cursed army there. But that is one heroic age god power down when there is a flaming weapons on the other side. And even after the ceasefire, you will still get 30 seconds or 20 seconds of flaming weapons, which can be a lot. 75% extra damage for 20 seconds is still pretty good. What's happening over here? Just some horses chasing each other around. Deciding to go in for that heavy infantry rather than the heavy cav, which is interesting. Basically going for the classic comp from the old game of Centaurs and hoplites. Kind of a Zeus strategy, but it's very, very strong. You get the hoplite to tank, hoplite to do some damage with the front line, and then you get the Centaurs to basically be the bulk of the damage. And the Centaurs here, units are in a massive ball. The Centaurs are going to do some damage. Sees that flaming weapons, just goes ceasefire, absolutely fine, and still takes a unit out. So how many of these does he have? So he has 8 Centaurs. And they just did that much damage. Still getting Centaurs out too. Might be worth chopping another temple, to be honest, if he wants to get that many out. Pegasus out too. Hasn't got that upgrade, the golden apples, I think it's called, which is basically you make it like you get Zeus income of favor, so plus 20% on the favor. But just deciding that isn't worth it. Rhinos on this side, Pegasus coming in. So this is the gold mine that Magic has decided to go for. Something that's on the edge of the map, so it's not something that the Centaurs can kind of sneak around the back. Really nice idea, because you would think that he'd probably go for this one, or maybe this one. Let's see, just a little bit of a cheeky raid. Just role-playing as Zeus, going in with the hoplites against the enemy town center. Town centers do fall reasonably quick against something like this, and then if the horses are going to run back quickly, then I guess the hoplites can just turn on them. There's something that you only really see as Zeus, but Kavoth's making it work as Poseidon even. And then we'll also win this fight afterwards, after the fact, which is pretty wild to say. Really need some throwing axemen there, but throwing axemen is just so slow. Just deciding to run instead because he knows that the rest of the army's coming. And because the army's coming, he's going up here with all his centaur. And these poor dwarfs all going to get taken down by this. Just the huge volley of arrows. Knowing that that's getting some kills, so just nice micro to run over here. And the hoplites are mostly going to get out as well. So going to get another few shots on these villages. Takes down the fortress, hill fort. Wouldn't be too bad for him to turn and fight this. Maybe if he can bring his centaurs over, if he can run this way, run his centaurs into, be absolutely fine. Wants to run away from this gold mine at all costs. So this is where Magic is now getting gold from. All his units are going to come over. Most of those hoplites are dead. This is something that I also like to do. If you get your units snared, which is when they're slowed down, just sacrifice a few to get most of your units out. Oh, Centaur's getting caught a little bit, but by this tree line, and there's no forest fire, not too bad to be honest. And they're just going to do so much damage. The Hersa will eventually get onto them. That's when the Centaur run away. And it looks like he has lost a few there. But they did their damage. The hoplites are also heavy. They're going to do some serious damage. Got some Hippaspis as well to deal with those throwing axemen, those Hersas. And he's also gone up and got his heavy Hippias as well. And this is the stage of the game where the Greek army is just so strong, especially with these myth units too. And look at all that damage. Now the Centaurs can just come over here. Unfortunately, he doesn't have that volley. If he had the volley, most of these would go down if he chose to do them right on the front. But I think he's winning the fight no matter what. 100 population to 30. This isn't something that Kavoth will be able to see, but I mean, you can just know that you're so far ahead at this point. And now he's got his units. Gold mine into the base. This is a tournament game, so Magic wants to try as much as possible. There is always a small chance that you could come back into certain games, so you've definitely got to go for it. But a Kavoth knows to push. Maybe a weaker player would not. Would maybe sit back, get a town center, go hero or go Mythic Age or something. But a strong player like Kavoth's always going to know to just push in, especially with all these centaurs. Finds that gold mine. And I reckon that's going to be GG at any time coming here. Even the villagers coming over to Shank, but Centaur's going to take them all down. Now this is something where people said Centaurs were weak now because I think they've been nerfed maybe twice, and Kavoth gets the win there. I think they've been nerfed twice, maybe even 3 times, but they are still very, very strong. That special ability, as long as that's still the special, I don't think it matters how much damage it does to a certain extent. But as long as that's the special, they're going to be strong. And I hope this has taught everyone how to play Poseidon, because it's definitely taught me a thing or two. If you want to see this game or the whole series, then this is from the Wrath of the Gods tournament. I'll put a link to that in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.